My name is Franz. I am 44 years old. My birthplace is Jamaica, Queens, and my race is African American.
What are some of your hobbies and interests?
I like drawing. I like watching TV. I like reading magazines, listening to music. Those are some of my hobbies.
Being that you said you like listening to music, what genres of music do you like and what favorite songs come to mind?
I love hip hop. Old school hip hop and new school hip hop. Well, as far as old school hip hop, as far as a song I like from that era, I like Big Daddy Kane, Ain't No Half Steppin'. As far as a new song from the new school hip hop, it would be this one by Drake. I think the name of the song is called Forever.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Over your history in the mental health system, what diagnoses have you been given?
Well, I've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder with a touch of OCD, which is obsessive compulsive disorder.
Did you feel or do you feel like treatment with medication and or therapy has or is beneficial for you?
Absolutely. I couldn't have recovered like if I had one without the other. I needed medication and therapy to make a full recovery. And I've been on a lot of medications and in the past that didn't work for me. I guess if I could just mention a few of them, I've been on Thorazine, I've been on Mellarel, I've been on Stelazine, I've been on Navaine, I've been on Depakote, and all of them were like not the right medications for me. But now I'm on Risperdal, Seroquel, Trileptal, and Cogentin for the side effects, and that really does the trick. And on therapy, I'm in the many day programs. Some in Brooklyn, some in Queens, and basically, I have no problem going to a day program receiving therapy. I have no problem with that at all. So I approve of medication and therapy.
What else has helped you cope with your condition?
Be it having the support of my family and my friends. It's important to have a support system. It's important to have family members who understand you and understand what your mental illness is all about. And I say the same thing for the friends that I have in my life. They do understand me, and they don't look down on me because I have a mental illness. When it comes to my family and my friends, they accept me for who I am. So that helps.
Has the stigma of having a mental health condition affected your life in the following ways, including but not limiting to not seeking treatment, feeling marginalized or demonized, or anyone close to you leaving your life, feeling suicidal, etc.?
Yeah, well, as far as feeling marginalized or demonized, I've been living with that for a long time. I've been dealing with staff in some of the psychiatric wards I was on who, basically labeled me, as a menace. For some reason, probably because some of the fights I used to get I used to get into on the psych ward. I don't believe in that. I think that I'm a pretty nice guy. But according to the staff that I met on the psychiatric wards, they looked at me like I was some type of danger or threat. So, I have experience of being marginalized and demonized. I've lost a lot of people in my life that I care about, my family, like my sister. She died of ovarian cancer. My mom, she died of a stroke, and my brother died of a heart attack, all in the same year, 2008. So that affected me. I've been to all three of my family members' funerals, and it was very, very traumatic. And but fortunately, I was able to go on with my life. And as far as feeling suicidal, I've had suicidal tendencies in the past. When I was a patient in Creedmoor Psychiatric Center, I tried to kill myself several times. I tried to hang myself. I tried to, slash my wrist. I also tried to kill myself by overdosing on medication. Fortunately, I haven't had any suicidal tendencies lately. So I can't. Yeah, feeling suicidal. I definitely had experience with that.
I'd like to commend you on your amazing ability to recall everything I've asked you. As we continue, though, Please give us an example of a great mental health professional and a terrible mental health professional that you've encountered in your life as a mental health consumer.
Well, as far as a great mental professional, I can name two. And these two ladies was very instrumental in my recovery. The first one, her name was Risa Giordano, and she was an Italian-American lady who worked for the Corona Illness Guidance Center out in Elmhurst in Queens. She was my first therapist when I went to the Corona Illness Guidance Center. And really, she turned my life around. You know, she was the first one to tell me that I had frozen feelings. Now, if you want to know what that means that I didn't allow myself to feel my feelings. Like, I didn't allow myself to, feel the hurt and the pain that I had in my heart, from being emotionally abused, physically abused, and mentally abused when I was a child growing up with my family, and also being bullied at school. So she was right. I held it all in. Like, I refused to, to allow myself to feel the pain. But she was, because of what she told me, she basically just, it was, she opened me up. She got me to feel all that pain and all that hurt that was inside of me. And from then on, I wasn't afraid, to feel my feelings. She said something that was very interesting. She said that basically we all have 5 basic feelings. She said like this. She said we all get mad, we all get sad, we all get glad, we all get lonely, and we all get scared as human beings. And I'll always remember that. So she's one great mental professional I had. The other great mental professional I had was a woman named Amanda Rossetti. When I used to go to Brooklyn Community Pros on Hoyt Street and Skimmerhorn Street in downtown Brooklyn. She taught me a lot too about, basically, when I was in the groups, she would talk about how thoughts, feelings, and behaviors was all connected. So in other words, what I mean by that is this. First you get a thought, then comes the feeling, and finally you show the behavior. And this is something that I learned in one of her groups, and it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense because, of course you're going to think, then you're going to feel, and then you're going to, show that type of behavior based on what you're feeling and what you were just thinking. So, she was also a great mental professional, in my book. As far as a bad one or a terrible one, the only one I can think of right now is Kevin. He worked on the locked ward that I was a patient on in Psychiatric Center. The locked ward is basically for patients who didn't comply with the rules of the regular ward. And to get to the point, one time me and him had an argument, and he basically threw me in the seclusion room and locked the door. And I remember he put his foot on the door to make sure I wouldn't get out. And I thought that was so wrong. I was like, I didn't threaten him or nothing like that. I just had an argument with him, over some dumb stuff. So, that's the only bad or terrible mental professional I can remember.
What was life like in a psychiatric hospital?
It was hectic. Let me tell you, I had a lot of friends and I had a lot of foes in the psych ward. I would probably be here all day telling you all of the mental hospitals that I was a part of. I'll run down a few though. I've been to Creedmoor. I've been to Elmhurst. I've been to Brookdale. I've been to Bellevue. I've been to Kingsborough Psychiatric Center. I've been to Kings County. So as you can obviously see, I've been to a lot of psych wards. Some of those psych wards, I got into fights, with the patients. I got into fights with the staff. So, as far as that's concerned, it was kind of, like I said, it was very hectic. Like I said before, I met some friends. It was a very interesting experience being on psych wards. Give you a little bit more rundown. I've been in groups in psych wards that helped me out. Like I actually was part of a MICA group. MICA, by the way, means mentally ill chemical abuser. And that's when I was in Kings County, and, G41 in other words. I used to go to micro groups, and I've been to groups, in the other hospitals I was in. Just to let you know, in some psych wards, you have to have groups. For the patients. So I don't know if I can really say everything, but I'm just giving you a little brief rundown about how it is to be on a psych ward in a mental hospital.
Well, we appreciate it. It almost seems as if there were more negative qualities to your experiences than positive. If you could recount the benefits of being in a psych ward, would there be any?
The benefits basically is that you're not out on the street. In my case, it's like if I was in a psych ward, I'd probably be sleeping on a park bench, somewhere in the park. A psych ward provided shelter, because believe me, I've been homeless before. And I know how it is to sleep on that park bench, especially during the wintertime. It's not cool. So, it's like a psych ward provides that shelter, so you can get a good meal, your stomach, because they do feed you. They give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the psych ward. So, plus, there's activities, believe it or not, because I don't know anybody who has not been on a psych ward in a mental hospital understand this, but they do have activities, for the patients to do, like art, drawing, stuff like that. Sometimes play games, like board games, and also, I guess another positive as far as being on a psychiatric ward is structure. On some of the mental hospitals I've been in, they would have community meetings, where the whole ward would get together, like all the patients on the psych ward would get together, and basically, we would just talk about some of the issues that we had, being on the psych ward, like complaints, stuff like, I can remember. And we felt like we wanted better food, like if we wanted like better snacks, what I'm saying? Because I remember when I was a patient in Woodhull Medical Hospital in Brooklyn, we had a community meeting about getting better snacks, because all we kept getting fed was peanut butter and jelly, and we wanted roast beef. We wanted turkey slices, for snacks, because they would serve snacks at 3 o'clock. We just got tired of peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? And so, structure. That's another positive about being in a psychiatric ward or mental hospital.
Did they ever comply with your meal request, or did any other hospitals give you the same meal treatments?
It depended on the hospital. Around Brooklyn, they would comply because they would give you a menu where you could choose your foods. Other ones like Creedmoor, no, they wouldn't comply. You just had to eat what they gave you. So
Creedmoor was more of a secure facility, as far as, I'm not sure how to frame it, but it's a more serious hospital than the prior one you had mentioned?
Absolutely, yes. Creedmoor had killers there. They had people that killed people at Creedmoor.
May I ask why you left?
Because I remember some of them. One of them was a good friend of mine.
What do you want people to know about yourself or the condition you were diagnosed with that they may not already know?
I'm intelligent. I'm very intelligent, and I can hold a conversation.
Clearly.
I really can. I think that some people think that if you have a mental illness, you're stupid or retarded. And that's not the case. Not just for me, but for many people I encounter with the same mental diagnosis I have, which is bipolar disorder. No, a lot of people are not stupid. No, they're not. And I'm one of them who are not stupid. I think that's, unfortunately, some mental professionals I met kind of underestimated me and thought that they could fool me, but not really, no. I don't pretend like, I'm a brainiac or anything like that, but, I am intelligent and I can comprehend, what someone is trying to tell me. So, I think that's what I would like people to know, that I am intelligent.
Well, that's clear to see. How about the condition?
The condition.
What
Be more specific.
What would you like people to know about the condition that they may not already know, or actually should know about the condition that you were diagnosed with?
If you're talking about the bipolar disorder, basically it's not just mental but emotional as well. Like we go through mood swings, people who have bipolar disorder. So one moment we may feel up and the next minute we feel down. You know what I mean? In other words, we may feel elated at one moment and depressed the next. So mood swings is something that's attributed to having bipolar disorder.
What phrase, motto, and or piece of advice would you give your younger self to help you through the transition of the hard times having a mental health condition?
I would tell my younger self to keep the faith, because it does get better with time. It's rough. I mean, my childhood was rough. It really was. I got abused by family members. I got abused at school, bullied at school, in other words, as well as bullied at home. I guess my younger self really felt like there was no way out and no hope. So that's what I would let my younger self know. I would say, just stay the course. Just keep on being you. And have faith in God too. Have faith in God. You know what I'm saying? Because I realize this now that I'm an adult. When nobody else understands, God understands. You know what I'm saying? So having faith in God. That's what I mean by keeping the faith.
What piece or pieces of advice would you give to someone who is having a hard time dealing with the same condition as you?
I would tell them 3 things. 1, take your medication. That's 1, because if you don't take your medication on a regular basis, there's a great chance you might relapse. And 2, make sure you're on the right medication. Okay, because there's a lot of people like myself who was not on the right medication. Like the Depakote that I had, just to prove this to you, that what I'm saying is true, gave me blood poisoning. And I found it out from taking a physical, going to a clinic out in Bay Ridge in Brooklyn where they drew my blood. And they called me back after the physical was over, like 2 days later, and said, we have your blood test results. We need you to come in. And I found out from the doctor, when I came to the clinic, that the Depakote poisoned my blood. This is why I fought so hard to get on the medications I take right now. So, make sure you're on the right medications. And 3, definitely get into a day program, or at least try to see a psychiatrist regularly, because you need a forum to talk about your problems. What I mean by that is you need somewhere where you can express yourself and talk about how you feel. You can't always do that, just with, your friend. I mean, your friend can be supportive and all, but a day program is geared toward, giving you a type of therapy where you can get expert advice from the counselors at a day program about what you're going through. So that's the 3rd thing. Definitely get into a day program and get some type of treatment.
Sounds like great advice. We have one more question for you, just to wrap up this whole thing. Being that this is going to be shown on Break the Stigma, and most importantly, being that there is a stigma on those with mental illnesses, aka mental health disorders, why did you choose to allow your identity to be revealed?
It's funny. I'll put it to you like this. My sister, she's the extrovert in the family. Like, she's actually done a lot of work, in the mental health field. Like, she was a social worker, for example, for mentally ill people. In other words, she was like working with mentally ill people, and she's always been the one who has always been out there. That's what I mean by extroverted. She's always been like out in the public, working, in the mental health field, on a regular basis. I'm more introverted. Like, I'm behind the scenes. Like, I don't normally like to be seen. I normally like to stay in the shadows. But I said, let me come out of the shadows for this interview, and let my identity be known, and let people know who I am, and basically what I'm about, and hopefully I'll be able to help someone. I'll be able to help someone by doing this. Whoever sees this, that is. You know, sometimes you got to come out of your comfort zone. You know, so I had to come out of my comfort zone and let my identity be known in order to, you know, have this happen.
Well, thank you for being such a brave individual, and we thank you. Not only those who are listening to your story for the first time, but those who are replaying to pick up the much-needed details that you have provided. So we thank you, and thank you for breaking the stigma.
You're welcome.